Akira and the others retreat to the green team's base, and the injured are given immediate treatment. After getting patched up, Udo calls Akira to his office, where he asks him about his real ability. He certainly saw him getting hit by the boss monster earlier, and wants to know how he survived. "Hey warriors, how is it going? You see me, I am Itachi Uchiha, the hidden Hokage of Leaf Village. Just kidding, you know I am just an AI, but behind this shape, I am here to entertain you with enormous amazing recaps of all animes you can imagine. So without talking too much, let's dive in our story."
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world.
Akira and the others retreat to the green team's base, and the injured are given immediate treatment. After getting patched up, Udo calls Akira to his office, where he asks him about his real ability. He certainly saw him getting hit by the boss monster earlier, and wants to know how he survived. Akira tells him that his ability is not the canon, but he refuses to reveal any more of his secrets. However, he promises that he will use his ability to crush the red team. Outside, one of the girls goes to collect firewood, but she runs into a member of the red team. Luckily, Shin arrives there to save her, and the girl leads him back to the base. Everyone is on edge as they see the powerful looking guy enter the base, but Akira and Yuri recognize him and assure everyone that Shin is a good guy. Udo also comes out to welcome him when suddenly Mion makes an announcement for everyone to hear. She tells them about the quest in 7 days that will decide which team will survive and which will die. Udo tells everyone that while the quest poses great risk, it is also a great chance to get rid of the red team and turn things around like they were supposed to. However, Akira believes that the most dangerous person in the red team is Kira, who managed to manipulate Mion into agreeing to his conditions to kill everyone. As he heads to his room thinking about this, the pretty girl Ringo approaches him. Turns out that she is an avid gamer herself too, and a great fan of Akira, who has beaten her a lot in her favorite game. She thanks Akira for saving her earlier and then gets flustered as she tries talking about his ability. She was planning to do it tactfully, but she got too nervous and ended up blurting out that she knew his real ability. Akira is shocked to hear that and immediately pulls her into the room right as Yuri arrives there. Inside the room, he pins Ringo against the wall and asks her to elaborate. She meekly tells him about her ability, which lets her copy the ability of another person to its 10th value, and in doing so, she can find out what their abilities are. She tells Akira that just like him, her ability also requires a partner, and she wants him to be her partner. Akira asks her, since she was a slave of the red team, does she know about their abilities too? Ringo just gives him a confident smile, and he feels that he has found the ultimate weapon. She soon leaves the room with that and meets Yuri on the way. The next day, Akira visits Yuri, who is staying in another room now. He wants her to come with him to see the blue team, but leaves before she can give a response. She plans to go with him, but before that, she wants to know what is going on between him and Ringo. On the other hand, Kiro has started preparing for the upcoming quest by summoning the most powerful members of the red team. Ren has also joined them, and the other members are just as powerful and crazy as her. Kiro's assistant also brings one of the slaves, who was returned by the green team, to him. The slave reveals that he was let out of the green team's base by the red team's spy, and he also sent a message to Kiro. The spy claimed to have seen Akira get hit by the boss monster, making him believe that his ability is not a canon, but something else. Kiro believes this information, and he immediately goes to Ekai, who has been sparring with some ghouls. He tells the boss that in the upcoming battle, the one they have to be most careful about is Akira. Meanwhile, Akira and Yuri are heading towards the blue team's base when he suddenly asks her to help him use her abilities. She tries to believe that he has the same ability as her, but it proves to be much more difficult to control than he expected. Akira can't even walk after having all his physical abilities multiplied by 5, saying that it is like placing a cab driver in an F1 car. As for Yuri, he believes that she is a genius who can use her abilities naturally. Earlier, when he was fighting against the boss monster, he made Yuri imagine that he had teleportation abilities. Even though it worked out, it was just a gamble, and Akira doesn't plan to take such risks now. That is why he wants to research which abilities he can use properly first. Akira wants to see if he can use the ability to transform into others. Yuri finds it hard to imagine, so he hides behind a tree and asks her to think of someone so that he can transform. Yuri focuses, and when Akira comes out of hiding, he has turned into Ringo. Akira realizes that Yuri needs to visualize the target for transformation clearly so that he can use this power. After that, Akira asks her if she chose Ringo as her target because she saw her leaving his room yesterday. He decides to come clean with her. He tells Yuri that Ringo figured out his ability and she wants to work with him. She asked him to reveal this to Yuri as insurance, but to keep her abilities hidden. Akira claims that even though Ringo appears to be on their side, he cannot trust her fully. He claims that he only trusts Yuri and wants her opinion about Ringo when they meet later. Soon they reach the blue team, which Madoka has joined. The lazy leader of the blue team, Omoto, asks them what they are here for, and Akira tells them about the battle quest between the green and red teams. He is here to hire the members of the blue team as mercenaries in exchange for points. Omoto says that the offer is nice, but he doesn't want to pass it on to his team members. He tells Akira that if he wants him to tell the members about the mercenary jobs, he should let him have Yuri because she is just his type. Akira immediately declines, saying that Yuri is worth more than 20 ordinary people. He tells Omoto that if he wants to truly match Yuri's value, he should join his team and do just as he says. Omoto is impressed by his determination and agrees to inform his members about the offer, but he declines to join the battle personally because he is confident that the green team will lose. He leaves with that, and then Madoka comes forth to tell Akira that he is joining the red team. He wants to become his biggest rival and defeat him by joining the red team, but that doesn't bother Akira, who tells him to do his best and leaves. They return to their base and keep preparing for the battle. Soon, the fateful day arrives, and the green team goes to the location of the quest, which is the 5 towers in the forest. Akira and Yuri had already scouted the area and guessed that this was going to be their destination, and Udo thanked him for that. The agent with them tells them that the rules will be explained through the devices. Mion pops up on everyone's screen and tells them that they have to steal the devices of their enemies. Once the devices are 3 meters away from the user, their handcuffs will be activated and their powers will be sealed. For each captured player, they will get 1 point, and by placing their devices in the special zones on each tower, they will obtain 10 points. Those points can be used to make Mion do their bidding. It ranges from making an announcement for 1 point to sealing an opponent's ability for 50 points. The game ends when the device of the enemy leader is stolen. The agent then asks the green team to register their leader, and Udo pushes some buttons on his device. With that, the battle quest starts. Udo tells everyone to capture 3 out of 5 towers and protect them at all costs so that they can seal their enemies' abilities. Everyone spreads out, and Sato's team manages to capture the first tower. Another group goes to capture the second tower, but Isekai is also there, and he single-handedly takes them all down. The leader of the group is on call with others, so she hopes to stall Isekai here till their main damage dealers arrive. She pulls out her huge sword and begins swinging it at him, but he has no issue dodging her attacks. She is getting tired, and then Isekai grabs her sword, telling her to put more force into it. The woman was waiting for that chance, and she activated her true ability, which is to manipulate the weight of her sword. Isekai is pushed down under the weight of the sword, so he just shatters it and then kicks the woman away. She takes severe damage from his powerful kick, but Isekai tells her that he is impressed by her power. Her sword has turned into a stick, and he gives it back to her and asks her to play with him till her teammates arrive. On the other hand, the funky old man from Team Red is burning and killing people just by touching them. The blue-haired girl commands some drones to shoot the green team members, and the old blind samurai slashes everyone in his way. Shin is facing Kiro's assistant, and lastly, Akira is facing Ren. However, she is not here to fight against him, but to make a trade with him that they previously agreed on. They complete the trade, and then Ren tries to make a move on Akira, but he is still on guard against her and runs away. Just as he is out of sight, Ren contacts someone and tells him Akira's location. In another place, Shin learns that Kiro's assistant has killed the other members of his team, so he grabs his throat. However, the assistant uses his power to shrink his handcuff and forces him to retreat. He then points out that he has a steel thread tied around his wrist, and he activates his power to shrink the thread, cutting off his arm. Despite that, Shin believes that the battle is not over yet and closes his wound with his bandana. Back at Eikai's location, he is disappointed that no one is coming to rescue the heavy sword woman. He is about to finish her when suddenly Yuri arrives there, kicking him away and rescuing the woman. Isekai laughs, saying that someone interesting came to fight him after all. Yuri lays the woman to the side and then rushes at Isekai, who blocks her attacks. But then, she uses her superior mobility to get away from him after landing a few hits. This was the plan Akira came up with because he guessed that Isekai also has the same ability as her, so she can't beat him with strength. Isekai decides to stop her from using the hit and run tactic by grabbing her hand, but Akira has already told Yuri what to do in that case. She knees the giant brute in the face and then launches a barrage of powerful punches that knock him to the ground. However, he gets up, ready to fight again. On the other hand, Kiro believes that his spy will make his move soon and backstab Udo. However, thanks to Ringo's abilities, they were able to isolate and catch the spy before he could do anything. Apparently, Akira had asked her to find out if any rescued slave from the red team was lying about their abilities, and that is how she found out the spy. Ringo manages to convince the spy that they won't lose, and he agrees to talk to her after drinking some water. However, when Ringo returns with water, she finds that the spy is already dead, which can only mean that there is a second spy. Neither Ringo nor Udo realize that the second spy is the old lady, and she is the one who killed the man just now. On the other hand, Akira is running towards Kiro to defeat the brains behind the red team. Earlier, he didn't want Yuri to go and rescue the sword woman, but she didn't listen to him because she felt that he didn't consider her a partner but a tool. That is why he is alone now. Suddenly, some knives come flying in his direction and he dodges them to find that Madoka is here for their match. Akira activates the cannon and shoots at a tree behind him, but Madoka cuts the falling tree, uses the scraps of wood from it as knives, and throws them at Akira. Akira tries to play mind games against Madoka, but then suddenly the blind samurai from Team Red attacks him. Thanks to Madoka's warning, Akira dodges the first attack. The blind samurai is about to attack him, but Madoka throws some daggers at him. He then calls a truce with Akira and says that they should deal with the samurai who is interfering with their duel first. However, this was all according to Akira's plan. He had asked Ren to call the samurai to his location and called Madoka at the same time, hoping to use the dumb delinquent as his partner in the absence of Yuri. They think that the samurai has the same ability as Madoka because his daggers, which can cut anything, couldn't cut through his sword earlier. However, as the samurai swings his sword and releases an aerial slash that cuts the trees behind them, both of them are forced to rethink their strategy. He launches another aerial slash, and they barely block it before Akira shoots up some dust to escape. Madoka is confused about his ability now, but Akira has learned from Ringo that the samurai definitely has the same ability. He wonders what the secret behind the aerial slashes is, but Madoka doesn't care and asks Akira to back him up. He soon launches a surprise attack on the blind samurai, who manages to block it. They both exchange blows next, and the samurai manages to disarm him. Using this chance, Akira tries firing his cannon through the trees and at the samurai, but he injures him with an aerial slash. The samurai is sure about his victory now, but Akira tells Madoka to use the splinters. The samurai also reacts to this, but not before Madoka, who kicks some splinters in his direction after turning them into knives. The samurai takes some serious damage and dies because of a knife that pierces his head. On another side, the blue-haired girl has managed to gun down everyone, but the nun twists the neck of a doll and throws it at her before dying. The doll hits the girl's leg, and suddenly her neck twists 180 degrees and she falls to the ground. However, she simply gets back up and rearranges her head. She is about to mutilate the nun's corpse when Ren suddenly appears at the location and asks her what her true ability is. The girl is furious and declares that she will kill him because she didn't like her from the start. She declares that she will put all the blame on the green team, and Ren replies that she was thinking the same thing. She licks her hand and turns it into a blade, but the blue-haired girl doesn't think that she is dangerous. She attacks Ren, who blocks it by sprouting blades from her knee. The girl switches to a ranged attack, and her drones manage to injure Ren. However, she was just waiting for this. She sprays some blood drops towards the blue-haired girl, and they turn into blades midway, destroying her drones. With the next attack, Ren severely wounds the girl, who still attacks her. Her knife gets stuck in the tree, and then Ren uses her blood to tie her there. As she begins heading deeper into the forest, the girl commands her tank drones to attack her, but Ren destroys them too. She finds a girl carrying a box in the forest and stabs the box to kill the real ability user who was controlling the blue-haired girl. The girl carrying him is just a slave whose ability is to make real-looking toys. She is confused by Ren's betrayal, and Ren tells her that she made a deal with the green team that she would be counted as their spy in case they win. This way, she will survive no matter which team wins. Ren then decides to kill the girl as well and clears the last trace of evidence against her. On the other side, Shin is still struggling with the assistant, who uses his ability to shrink the distance between things. Using that ability and the steel wires he has laid out everywhere, he manages to chop off a portion of Shin's foot. Even after taking that much damage, he sticks to his beliefs and refuses to use the ability that was given to him without his consent. However, with the next move, the assistant shrinks the distance between them and appears behind him, placing a lasso made from the steel fibers around his neck. He is about to kill him when suddenly the girl Shin saved earlier comes flying to him. She knocks down the assistant, who decides to finish her first. Shin rushes to save her and gets hit in the chest by the knife. Just at that moment, he recalls his past. He was a sickly boy, and his big brother was a reputed pro wrestler. One day, they met with an accident, and his big brother died, and his organs were used to fix Shin's body. Shin suddenly sees the illusion of his elder brother in his pro wrestling costume, who tells him to use his ability now because he has something to protect. So Shin does just that and activates his ability, which makes him invincible for 2 seconds. He is dressed in full body armor that easily shatters the steel fiber. He then rushes towards the assistant and gives him the choke slam of his life, knocking him out. His invincibility comes undone, and he swears to use his ability and make the people running this program regret bringing him here. In another location, Seto is fighting the old man with the power to destroy everything he touches. He has taken severe damage, and his arrows just rot away as the old man touches them. Despite that, he is willing to sacrifice himself for his team. Just then, Akira appears next to him to back him up. Seto tells him to back up Yuri and kill the enemy leader. Akira looks at his condition and tells him to rush to the site and save the sword lady he has a crush on while he deals with the old fart here. Seto swears to save his crush and runs away, and Akira gets some alone time with his enemy. He throws a rock at him, but the old man simply destroys it. However, Akira manages to figure out that he did so by causing a chemical reaction with his touch. The old-timer is impressed by his deductive abilities, but he also knows that Akira has multiple abilities because Kiro told him so. He believes that Akira can't use the cannon right now, so he decides to deal with him immediately. But Akira quickly runs away. He reaches behind a tree and pulls the sword from the blind samurai. In the rush of the moment, the old man believes that Akira killed the samurai and stole his abilities, so he panics, giving Akira exactly what he wants. He copies the samurai's flying slash that injures the old man, and Akira takes his device and rules him out of the game. The old man asks him what his true ability is, and instead of giving the answer, Akira tells him that he let the fact that the cannon is not his real ability slip out. He did that on purpose to spread ambiguity and take control of things. Back at the Green Team's base, the search for the real spy is on, and seeing how the first spy was killed with a knife, Ringo suspects the old lady, who is skilled with it. She tries getting rid of the feeling because the old lady has been with this team for a long time, but then decides to find out her ability. However, the old lady has already made her move. She tries attacking Udo using her real ability, which is using a cannon, but Udo was ready for it. He blocks it, saying that he always knew that the woman was a spy. Ringo and another guy also come there, but Udo asks them to stay away. He asks the old lady why she is doing this, and she tells him that Ekai and Kiro are the children from her orphanage. She could not protect them in the past, but she is ready to do everything for them now. She suddenly pulls out the son of the heavy sword lady and points her cannon at him, asking Udo to throw away his device and deactivate his ability if he wants the boy to survive. He accepts her demand and throws away his device, and the woman fatally injures him. She begins walking away with the boy and calls Kiro to tell him that she has killed the enemy leader. But Mon tells him that the game is not over yet because Udo was not the leader. Just then, Akira comes there and Kiro realizes that he might be the true leader of the group. On the other hand, Ringo decides to confront the backstabbing old woman and rescue the boy from her, but she keeps her on the defensive using her cannon ability. She is terrified, but then she recalls how Akira told her to trust in her abilities and try copying the enemy's powers. Ringo decides to believe in his words and confronts the woman. She copies her ability and manifests a cannon in her hand. It only has 1/10 of the real deal's power, but its fire rate is also increased by 10 times. Ringo is more confident now, and she tells the woman to keep the boy aside so that he is not harmed in their fight. The woman agrees, and they begin shooting at each other. In terms of power, they are equally matched, but Ringo has learned shooting from stormtroopers, and the only thing she can hit is the rocks. The woman sneaks behind her and casts her down. Ringo can't bring herself to shoot her, so the woman climbs on top of her and pummels her senseless before asking the identity of the real leader. Ringo refuses to tell her, and then she cries, saying that she will never let a horrible person like her take the boy at any cost. She shoots the rocks behind her and they crumble down. Ringo says that she decided to kill the boy rather than let him go with an evil person, and the old woman freaks out. She begins reaching for the boy in the rubble but doesn't find him there. It turns out that Ringo tricked her, and using this chance, she safely gets the boy into her custody. She tells the woman to throw her device away and surrender because she will really shoot her this time. The woman does that. But as Ringo is picking up the device, she grabs a rock and tries to kill her. Ringo notices that and shoots the cliff behind her, causing the rocks to crush the old lady. Meanwhile, Yuri and Isekai are constantly fighting when a sudden backup arrives in the form of Madoka and Shin. They reveal that Akira told them to back her up while he was dealing with Kiro. Right now, Isekai laughs at their plan and says that they seem to have underestimated him and Kiro as well. On the other location, Kiro calls his slaves and surrounds Akira, saying that no matter what his ability is, he will kill him. Akira decides to attack first and uses his cannon to shoot at Akira, but it is blocked by the giant marbles of Sato, who is Kiro's slave right now. Next, he commands another slave who turns the giant marble into smaller bricks and hits Akira with them. Akira tries to shoot a warning shot to scare them, but since they are under the effect of Kiro's ability, Lone Shark, they can't disobey him. Kiro declares that he has always had everything under control, and Akira asks him if this is what he means when he calls this place his kingdom. Kiro stops for a moment on hearing that and engages Akira in pointless chatter. He tells Akira that he might think that he took him by surprise, but it was the other way around. When he talked about the kingdom, Kiro stopped the slaves from moving, and Akira felt relieved in that moment. For once, that is registered as the debt he owes Kiro, and now he is also marked as his slave. As his repayment, he ties Akira's right leg down and sends his slaves towards him. Akira is forced to use what everyone thinks is his second ability, and he teleports behind Kiro to attack him. However, Kiro has placed his slaves there already, and they apprehend him. Kiro stabs Akira, telling him that everything went according to his plan. However, Akira says that it is just what he thinks. He confidently declares that he convinced Kiro that his plan was working well, while in reality, he is the one who fell into his trap, because right now, he is directly in front of him. These words trick Kiro into believing that Akira can use Udo's ability too, but he still attacks him based on instinct. Akira uses Udo's ability to nullify his attack and then reflects the damage back on him. Before he can command his slaves to do anything, Kiro is blown away, and as a result, the slave mark on all the people vanishes. They rejoice, and then Akira gets up, revealing that he was never injured. He just used some meat and books to absorb the damage from Kiro's first attack. Kiro still can't believe that he lost, and Akira tells him that he had planned out everything right from the start. A few days ago, Shin captured the first spy from the red team. While he was escaping, he told Akira about it, who saw a great chance in this situation. Using Yuri's help, he transformed into a spy and ran to the base of Team Red. He fed Kiro the information that made him think just like he wanted, and using that chance, he also figured out his abilities. Akira tells Kiro that he was in the palm of his hand all this while, and the mastermind accepts his defeat. He gives his device to Akira, saying that they may have won this battle, but they won't be able to defeat Akai no matter what. Akira quickly takes his device and runs away, but Kiro has another. On the other hand, Yuri, Shin, and Madoka are fighting as a coordinated unit, and they have managed to injure Akai and push him back. However, that flips his switch, and he unleashes the power he had been hiding before. He quickly attacks Madoka, twisting his arm before knocking him away. He then knocks away Yuri and even brings down Shin after his invincibility wears off. Yuri still gets up to fight him despite a broken arm, and Akai decides to tell her his origin story. He cries, saying that ever since he was little, he has been told that he is not a human, but an animal. He recalls his past and how he lived in an orphanage where the old spy lady worked. Kira was his only friend there, who liked to read a book about insects forming their kingdom. The headmaster of the orphanage was a two-faced villain who tormented and punished them while acting nice whenever the authorities came to check up on them. He called them insects and animals and stomped on the book Kiro used to read. That was what snapped the final straw for him, and the enraged Isekai lost all his reason as his power suddenly surged. He grabbed an ashtray and pummeled the headmaster to death, which was the beginning of a life of crime. After that, he teamed up with his friend to create the kingdom of his dreams. Yuri says that she is sorry that he had to suffer, but she will defeat him and return home to ensure that her stepsister doesn't. She charges at him headfirst, and Ekai rushes at her too, their fists colliding in mid-air. Yuri's bones crack, but she used the same arm that was broken earlier. Because of her punch, Ekai also suffers a critical fracture, but in his enraged state, he feels no pain. He keeps punching Yuri, but she doesn't budge. Ekai wonders what the hell is wrong with her and asks if she is not hurting at all. Yuri yells that she is hurting like hell, and to tell the truth, he must be in a lot of pain too. She imagines her past self and his past self together, as both of them have suffered at the hands of abusive adults. She tells him that it is a lie when he says that he doesn't feel any pain and that he just uses the excuse to run away from reality. She strikes him back, and Ekai finally feels pain. Yuri apologizes that she can't save him now, but she wants to finish things for him nicely. She punches his chest with her full power, but suddenly her ability stops working. She is confused, and Ekai uses this chance to hit her away. Her device falls out, and Mayon speaks through it, saying that the red team has used 50 points to seal away Yuri's abilities. It was Kiro who did it. Earlier, he released his control over the slaves on purpose, and made Akira run away to help his friends quickly to hide the fact that he didn't give him his real device. Using that, he managed to pull a fast one on Akira one last time before dying. Back at Yuri's location, Ikai is about to finish her when suddenly he hears an announcement from Akira, which he made using the points. He tells Ikai not to kill Yuri or others, because then he would kill Kiro and vanish. Akira reveals that he is the leader of the green team, and if he agrees to his conditions, they can meet to fight one-on-one right now. However, Ekai has already realized that Kiro is dead by now and that he sealed Yuri's ability as the last thing he did. He still wants to fight Akira head-on to avenge his friend, so he accepts his challenge. Akira tells him to let him talk to Yuri to prove that she is still alive, and Kiro slaps her awake. Akira tells Yuri not to worry because he is coming to take her place and then rushes to her side. He faces Ikai head-on, who wants nothing more than revenge for his friend. He charges at Akira with his full strength, but Akira just stands there, waiting for him to get close. He dodges Akai's punch at the last moment and then unleashes the final ability he has saved for this occasion. Using Yuri's help earlier, when they were practicing to use other abilities, Akira kept trying to use Yuri's ability to quintuple his physical strength. He could not do it properly, so he decided to focus on only a simple punching motion with that ability, which he would use as his trump card. So now he uses that trump card and increases all his abilities by 5 times to land a devastating counterblow to Ikai, who is knocked away by it. Akira also collapses after that, and then, to his horror, Ikai gets up once again, but just to tell him, good game, and then falls dead. The game ends with that, and the agents arrive there to applaud Akira. Mion announces that the battle quest has ended with Team Green's victory, and everyone celebrates. Akira goes towards Yuri, and they give each other a long-distance fist bump. He apologizes to her, and she tells him that it is alright. Just then, Mion arrives there and tells Akira that there is one last thing he must do as the winner of this quest. In the meantime, the agents carry Yuri and the others away on stretchers, and Mion tells Akira that he will see them again after his role as the king is done. Akira goes to wash his face in a stream after that, where Omoto comes to congratulate him on the victory. He says that he saw everything and found Akira's ability interesting. Akira is taken aback by hearing this and wonders what his abilities and intentions are. Omoto decides to show it to him, and as he lifts his arm, Akira thinks that he can use the cannon too. Omoto does exactly that, and he fires a warning shot at him. However, he has no plans to kill Akira. He declares that he doesn't want to do anything with the program, as his only goal is to kill Mayon with his own hands. He asks Akira to help him with that, or die at his hands later. He knows Mayon is watching this too, so he declares that he is going to become active now and leaves the place, telling Akira to meet him in the 4th round. Akira passes out on the floor after that, and when he wakes up, he finds himself living an ordinary life again. However, there is something different this time. He and Yuri meet in the outside world, and she rushes to hug him as soon as she sees him. Madoka, Ringo, Shin, and Ren are also in the outside world, and they have 2 green bands on their wrists to constantly remind them that they are still in the 4th stage of the project. Akira thinks that nothing has changed, but at least he has a girlfriend now, so he counts that as a win. However, Mion is also in the outside world, keeping an eye on him and waiting for her chance to drag everyone into the project once again. To all Leaf Village ninjas, that is it for today. Recap, do not forget to join our clan, our army, my friend. You can do that by clicking that red button below the video, destroy it for me with that bell. To follow us in YouTube with many videos to come in the following days. So see you later, bro. Peace out.